Okay, getting there Shabbos. We're in the Hachaim, Parshat Vayigash, Parak Mem Zayin, Pasuk Yud Gimel. The Hachaim is going to teach us an unbelievable concept in human psychology. The Pasuk says, "The lechem ein b'chol haaretz." There was no bread in the whole world, right? B'chol haaretz means in all the lands. Ki kovid harav ma'id, because the famine was extremely severe. V'atela eretz Mitzrayim v'eretz Canaan l'pnei harav. And the people became exhausted. They became weary from the hunger. So the Hachaim says, what does it mean that they became weary? What exactly were they weary from? Right? Obviously, they were hungry, but what does it mean that it sounds like they were mentally, exhausted from the fact that they were constantly hungry? The Hachaim teaches us an unbelievable concept when it comes to how people look at things. Pirish. Because the hunger was so severe, people didn't know when their next meal would come. So when they had food, they would eat all of it. In actuality, says the Hachaim, they would eat more than they normally would have eaten in a time of prosperity, right? Because if you know that you have food in the pantry, if you have food in the kitchen, so you're not hungry. Because you know that if in an hour you're hungry, there's food. But when a person doesn't know when his next meal is, he loads up. He tries to chop as much as he can because he doesn't know when that's going to happen. Many times, when there's a shortage of food or shortage of any item, usually it's because people are nervous that there won't be tomorrow the item that they need, the next day that the item they need. Right? When there was COVID, in the beginning of COVID, people ran to buy all different types of things. So the panic buying actually caused the shortage. Really, there wasn't a shortage. If people would have continued to buy their normal, tendency of buying things, they would have been fine. But because there was the psychology was that there won't be any of this specific item in a week from now, I have to load up now, and that actually caused the shortage, not the fact that there was a shortage. So the increase in people purchasing items is what caused the shortage, and that fed on itself, and that caused more people to think that there wouldn't be items, and then all of a sudden you walked into the store and there was nothing left, so that caused people to panic even more, and that became a continuation, self-fulfilling prophecy. Same thing over here. Says the Hachaim that the people, when they got food, they would eat whatever they had, which was more than they normally would have eaten. Why? Because since they were always constantly nervous that they wouldn't have food, they just ate. And their appetite, they weren't able to satisfy their appetite because psychologically they thought in an hour they wouldn't have food. The Hachaim says from his own experience in life, he says, I saw this as well, unfortunately. When there were years of famine in the West, right, in Morocco, where Hachaim came from, that a single person would eat the same amount of food that normally would be enough for 10 people, and he would still be hungry, even though he ate a meal for 10 people. But because in his mind, he would not know when the next meal would come, he would still be hungry, Rahman al-Islam, and that actually caused not just a physical weariness, it caused a mental drain on their beings, and that's why the Pasuk says they actually became weary. That was a double curse. The first curse was that there wasn't enough food, and the second curse was that they became mentally exhausted. The Pasuk continues, Vayalaket, and Yosef HaTzadik gathered all the money. Now the word Vayalaket is generally used when you're harvesting food, right? You're harvesting the wheat, you're harvesting apples, you're harvesting corn. So the Chaim is zeroing in on this word Vayalaket. Amar Lashon Lekita, Pirsh Sholinisha Miakesef Biyodum V'loy Klum. That Yosef HaTzadik actually gathered all the money that the people of Mitzrayim had, to the point that he didn't even leave over a small amount of money that people could have. As we're going to see in the next piece of Hachaim, there was no money left at all in Mitzrayim. And we're going to see that this was done by design by Yosef HaTzadik to basically clean out the money from all the people. Yosef HaTzadik had two intentions on this. Obviously, it was with the spirit of Hashem, because Hashem promised Avraham Avinu that Klal Yisrael would leave Mitzrayim with tremendous wealth. The wealth came from the money from all the people in the world came to Mitzrayim to buy food. The hunger wasn't just in Mitzrayim, it was in the whole world. So all the money was centralized in one place, especially Mitzrayim. And then the people, Klal Yisrael was able to take all the money and take it with them when they left Mitzrayim. Even though eventually, as we know, Yaakov gave a bracha to Paroi and the famine ended and commerce continued as it was prior to the years of hunger, but most of the money was drained from the economy. It was only because more money came in from outside of Mitzrayim that they were able to continue, that the people of Mitzrayim were able to get money again.